My name is Mark Ehrlichs, and I am a healer by the grace of God. And I welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And but we have all this activity now, and that's happening. It might be chaos. It might be otherwise. Even with the chaos, there's just, it's a part of us as far as, being able to grow, being able to develop. We have to have it in order for change to happen. Change is chaos. And that's just the nature of what it is. But we can take it as, freely as we want, or become involved in it. And if we become involved in it, we continue the chaos within us. The idea is to, I guess, just, see something that's happening, and as you're seeing it, you're standing outside of yourself watching it, or you're being so objective versus being subjective to it. You're not subject to it. You're not wrapped up in it. You can observe it, and in the observation, we're not getting involved in it. And then we can take one thing at a time, knock it out as it's happening. Even if a lot of things are happening at one time, we still have the ability to do, all right, I'm going to take care of this, and we do it, or we address it, then we go to the next thing. Otherwise, we're, as the old analogy goes, chickens with our heads cut off, running around all over the place, not knowing what to do and feeling the stress of it. And it's just not worth it. It's a pattern that we learned because no one taught us otherwise. Most often. So that's my, world according to Garth Mark. And any case. So Chris, where are you from, my friend? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Your mic's off.
Tucson, Arizona.
Oh my God. Great. Awesome.
We've met before. You know my daughter, Michelle Claire.
Oh my God. I didn't recognize it in the t-shirt. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Great.
I'm totally honored. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Then you know Penny as well.
Sure do.
Oh, yes. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Penny.
Patty's from Florida. And Jane, where are you from, my dear friend?
I'm also from Tucson, and my son is here visiting, so I had him join the call. He's from California.
Welcome.
And
welcome.
When you were in Tucson last time, I came to your event, and Marie
the Healing Circle.
Yes, and Marie from up in Phoenix, Marie Fowler, was the one.
Oh my God, everyone knows everyone. Hi, Sam, I know you. You're from Chicago. Yay. Yes. Wonderful. And let me see here. Lynn's in Canada, and she runs the show just about. She sets me up with everything in my ignorance of computer stuff, and she saves my life. And so everyone say hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, everyone.
And Samantha's in Chicago, and let's see, the Apprentice is in one of the states. I want to keep her anonymous because she's wanting to be anonymous, and I say fine. And also Paul, where are you from, my dear friend?
It's Ruth, and I'm from Chicago.
Oh, Ruth. Okay. You disappeared, and I didn't know it was you still. Okay, Ruth.
Yeah.
So I hope you all had a good experience, Jane, in the Healing Circle when I was there.
Yeah, it was wonderful. In fact, my question is, I show on my calendar you're going to be here this weekend. Is that still happening with our Rise in?
No, we're setting it up. Dan and I are setting it up to do the, yay, Sue's here. We're setting it up to do a workshop on the internet. And it'll be a full day workshop. And the other option if a lot, it depends upon how many people want to participate in that. And if you do participate in that, even if you can't attend, it'll be available on a private YouTube channel so you can see it. Even if you were participating in it, you'll be able to see it again and again and again. Only the
Will that
people that
be
signed
this-
up.
Will that be this Saturday, or is there a different date?
Saturday. And
Oh,
if,
great. Yeah, I'd love to get information on that. Great.
yes, and if that doesn't work, then we're going to set up another date for an hour and a half a day for 4 days. But most likely it'll be this Saturday. And again, you can replay it if you're not a part of it. And Lynn will be putting out the information on that when I talk to Dan later today. It'll be settled one way or the other.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And he'll let everyone know. He's not going to notify anyone until we talk about it, which is smart, you know, very wise. And finally getting it out. So, Sue, how you doing? Pretty good? All right.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Well, this is a healing circle, and we can talk about healing if you want, or throw in any other questions. And what I'll be doing also, okay, I got the message from The Apprentice. Great. All right. It's with the neck. And also, I'll be working with each person and individually, because there's only supposed to be a minimum of 10. There may be other people that may be coming in, and there'll be a lot of people who participated in the replay of this as well. And if you can also, is this where the hashtag goes, Lynn? No, okay, forget that. Just on YouTube.
However, people can leave a comment once the YouTube video is posted. You can leave a comment, and that actually helps. And you can put the hashtag in there, but it's after the fact.
Got it. All right. Yeah, and that's for if you can put hashtag you rock or hashtag replay. If you see the replay, then Google Analytics gives me a little more credit, thank God, and it'll help. It'll definitely help. Oh, good. Hey, oh my God, good. Who we got here? Liz, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Liz. Appreciate it.
Hi.
Hi. All right. Are there any questions pertaining to healing before we boogie here and get it started? I work with, oh, please, Jane, please. Turn on your mic.
Okay, great. Thanks. I was just wondering, my son is not familiar. Could you give him just a short who you are and how you came to this work?
Yeah, real brief. 47 years ago, approximately, I went into an order, and that's when that's what I call my birth into spirituality. And prior to that, I was anti-God, and it just I just kept getting shown more and more and more and more. And then I was in the chapel on the second day. The first day I was in the chapel. My assigned teacher had said, go to the chapel and kneel before the Mary Shrine, and and someone will come along and get you, show you you're going to be sleeping, and get you something to eat. I said, okay. So I went into the chapel. No one else was there, except for this one brother. And he said, yeah, you can just come on in. You don't have to knock on a door or anything else, which I did. And so I went into, and as he was leaving, he said, anything else? I said, no. Oh, by the way, where's the Mary Shrine I'm supposed to kneel up? Because I'm Jewish. And so I didn't know anything about a Mary Shrine or anything. I didn't know nothing religious. And so, and I was brought up in a very conservative uh, uh, Judaism. And so what happened was he showed me where the Mary Shrine was, and then he showed me how to kneel, because I said, well, how do you kneel? Because I never knelt before. I didn't know if it was something special. So he showed me how, and he huffed and puffed and went out. So no one else was there, and it was a dark room with a bunch of candles and icons on the wall, pictures. And I was kneeling there, and I won't give you the whole story, but there was a picture of this woman on the wall with a white veil around her. And so it looked like she was looking at me. So I kept turning the picture, and I kept blowing out the candle there, the red candle, and lighting it again, blowing it out, lighting it, having a good time, picking the petals off the rose that was there. And I was just having fun. I didn't know what I was doing. I put the petals in my pocket, and then I started getting really sleepy. And I started to put my head down, and before it went down, and I was conscious during this time too, all of a sudden I found myself in this huge maze, and it went on forever all around me. It was like I was in a consciousness, I realized. But it was like a secret consciousness. And in the maze, I found myself, as I was looking at it, I found myself in it, somewhere in the maze, in this consciousness that went on forever. And I ended up in this little grassy knoll in my, what I thought was a dream, but I was conscious in this dream. And I knew the sounds that were outside of the chapel. I heard people talk as they passed by the chapel. And then I ended up in this little grassy knoll, and in front of me was this road that was maybe about 20 feet wide, and it led into, on the left side, it led into an alcove that was forest that was all around me, and you couldn't see into the forest. It was so dark and lush and green. And then to the right, it led into what looked like a handmade stone monastic type structure with a ramp door on the front. The ramp door came down like it should cover a moat, but there was no water. Then a procession of monks came out with their hoods over their heads, arms in their sleeves, and their robes all the way down past their feet. And they were 4 deep and 10 long. So there were 40 of them. No one looked at me. They just all passed on this road and went into the alcove and disappeared into it as they went further into it. But the third one deep stepped out, took his arms out of his sleeves, put his hood back, and came up to me. And he introduced himself to me, told me his name, and I told him mine. We ended up sitting in this little grassy knoll on this park bench that looked like an old Chicago park bench with the real thin green slats of wood and ornate wrought iron on the sides. And he just started asking me about questions of healing. And I was answering him. And then there was a lot that I didn't understand. And I asked him, and he gave me further explanation. And so the procession came back. And he went back into his place, looked just like all of them with the hood up and the arms in the sleeves. And then the ramp door went up, and someone tapped me on the shoulder. And I swung my head around, and there was this funky brother there. And he said, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm so late, but I'm here to get you something to eat, or you're going to be sleeping." I said, "Wow." That's all I could say was, "Wow." And so walked outside. It was dark, and I had gotten in there at around 12:30 or something like that. I don't remember. And I was there for 5.5 hours. And so I just thought it was the greatest dream I ever had in my life. And it was the next day that a bunch of people around lunchtime, and I didn't know if I was going to be staying there or leaving or what. And there's another part of the story I won't express right now, but this tall brother, he came up to me, and he looked down at me, and he said, "I got a headache." And so I said, "So?" And he says, and he repeated it again as I'm looking up at him. And he said, I got a headache. And I'm looking up and I said, take some aspirin. And he kept saying it. Then it hit me what had happened the night, that late afternoon before, about meeting that monk or whatever it was. It gave me his name and stuff. And then another incident that happened early in the morning while I was deciding, am I going to stay or leave? I don't know. And so I said, can I try something really weird? And he says, yeah. And so I reached up, put my on my toes, put my hands on his head, and for about 5 or 7 seconds, I felt a weird sensation coming out of my hands. And I didn't know if it was blood pressure, the heat of the day, and it wasn't really hot or anything, but I didn't know what it was. And or the blood from my heart, you know, whatever. And after the sensation left, I took my hands down, and he said, how in the hell did you do that? And I said, why in the hell did you ask me to? And so, and he said, I don't know. And so he had no clue why he was asking me to, or telling me about his headache. And so ever since then, from that day on, I've been trying to learn about it, trying to understand it to varying degrees. And I've been taught to varying degrees from within myself about this stuff. And it was many years later it wasn't many years. It was several years later that I had been asked by a therapist, a psychologist, to teach her class because she had received a fantastic healing. And she asked me to teach her class of 25 people for about 25 minutes. And I said, sure, but I don't know what to teach. This is a gift. You can't teach a gift. And she says, oh, sure you can. And so she met me at my first Starbucks. That was about 30 years ago, I think, 25 years ago in Chicago. And then she showed me how to create an outline and to break it down, etc. And I started, I went home and I ended up writing maybe about 100-page book for a 20-minute talk. And I didn't know, you know, it would take so long. I just thought it would be really quick. So that turned out to be my first half-day workshop. And I only got to page 2. And, that turned out to be my first 20-minute workshop. Then it turned into as people kept saying, teach me, teach me, teach me in all my appointments 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And then that turned into a half-day workshop. That turned into a full-day workshop. And Patty was in Chicago back then, and she experienced a lot of this stuff as I was beginning to unfold, as far as seeing that other people can easily do this. And my place in life is to help people realize that they can do this. So that's where the classes come in. And that's where my understandings get expressed to people. So I teach, I do individual appointments, but now I do them either FaceTime, or I do them Zoom, or I do them over the telephone. And so this is the whole ball game. And I'm offering the mini classes every other week now. And hopefully they'll be only 20 minutes long or 15 minutes long. They've been lasting a little longer, unfortunately. And I apologize, Lynn, because it takes up her time too. And there are many classes on topics that people request from me and that Lynn has suggestions about. And I say, yeah, sure. Now, I'm kind of out of the mainstream, so I don't know what people like to hear about or understand or experience in some way or another. But healing is my forte, and I do have, those 40 monks, they represented various gifts. And but my forte is in only maybe 1, possibly 3 of those gifts. And so, and I don't talk about the others. The healing is my main one, though, and that's what. And we can't have any gift, though, without the ability of intuition, No gift is possible unless we have that ability of intuition. We have it within us, and everyone has it. It's just not as developed as we can conjure in our minds. But there's ways of doing it and expressing it and stuff like that. And I haven't. I've ignored it, though I do see things at times, and I understand things at times. I'm not a psychic. I won't coin myself as that. Sometimes I coin myself as being a seer, but it's not full time. Believe me, it's only in the spontaneity of the spirit that it happens. So I hope that answers, a little bit, Jane. And what's your son's name again?
Carrie.
Carrie. Hi. Hi. Okay. I hope that gives you a little bit of an understanding. In the meantime, I'm teaching classes all over the country, or now it's on the internet. And I was going to go to Tucson this coming weekend, but that was canceled. It's getting a little more intense there. It makes people feel uncomfortable on the most part. That's why I canceled it out. So please, any other questions I can try to answer before we boogie here? Please, anything. Sue.
Okay. I know we've talked about this before, but when a patient has had surgery and has had an organ removed because of cancer or something like that.
Yes.
I know energetically they're still whole, but
Yes.
visually, I think they always keep worrying about that part of their body. Is there any way to reassure? I have a gal who's going back. They're surgically going back to look at the area again where they took out the tumor. And of course, it's in her brain, so she's definitely worried.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I think just a spontaneous answer, unless I was working with a person and knew them or whatever, but my immediate answer is to just trust that divinity and to love it and to find it to love it. And it takes reinforcement within us to be able to do it. But as we do that, as we look for that within, because all other help is away, and you got a good surgeon, you got, and then you got your trust.
Okay.
And in that trust is the ability to believe in something, to live in it. And as you do, you're putting your, what people call faith into it, and you're allowing it to express in a healthier way in your body. And as you go to that divinity within, that godliness within, the creator within, the Christos within, then you find, or Yahweh, or whatever you want to call it, you'll find that it will communicate with you not only in understandings, but it will also communicate, and which I mean commune with you, because it's a part of you and you're a part of it. And it will share with you physiologically, biologically, neurologically. Sometimes, as we're doing that, say hypothetically, I'm not saying this for your friend, but hypothetically, if we're in the process of passing, it makes it so much easier. And then we also find the glorification in it, because we're being taken care of in that process of passing. There's been times I've been on the phone with people, the relatives are there, and they called me saying, "Oh, my mother is dying right now. Can you help her?" So I talked with her, and she was in the process of death. And immediately after I talked with her, she was able to pass freely and joyfully without all the agony and the pain. Other times, I've talked with people in that process, and for their needs, their soul's needs, they were, say, healed, or other people it was incremental in their healing. But they participated with it in emotionally and also in their life. They participated in their healing as well if it was incremental, especially because they had to do something too to complete the process. So who knows, you know? But at the same time, it's important first to find that divinity within. And then we find ourselves less in the chaos and less in the fear and less in the destruction of what dynamics are happening. I hope that almost answers your question, Sue.
It triggered the thought anyway that with her, when I work with her, yeah, just work with the trust, the love. Yes.
Yes.
Matter
Otherwise, yeah,
what
otherwise we're going crazy
Prepare.
and we're worrying and we're fearful, and that contribution is not going to help.
Mhm.
It's going to be destructive in us. Capiche?
Capiche.
That means I love Starbucks in German. So, all right. All right. Please, any further questions before we boogie here? Please. All right. What I'm going to do, oh, I apologize. Let me turn it off. What I'm going to do is work with one person at a time, and I'll start off with The Apprentice, and then it'll just be with one thing, not emotional. It'll be something physiologically. Say if it's both arms, tell me one arm, and I'll work with that one. And next week I'll work with the other one, and then in the meantime you can walk around like this, and it may affect you immediately. It may affect you incrementally, or it may finally give you a cause what's creating it in the first place that hasn't been found in 5 years or 20 years, that the medical science wasn't able to determine what the cause was. I don't know. And so I just allow it to happen. And whatever the boss wants to do, the old man or old woman upstairs, which is really inside, I say, take over, boss. And sometimes it may show me something, and sometimes not. Sometimes I'll say, I got to find out what is this? What is this? And it will say, just keep working, but the rest is none of your business. And I say, fine with me. You're bigger than me. So I just let things happen. All right. First, I want to work with the Apprentice, and I believe it was her neck, if I'm correct. Yes. And you may sense me working with you. I know that I sense things, and I don't care if it's on the other side of the world or right in front of me. It doesn't matter. And I just saw the Apprentice jerk back with the energetic, or it might have been mild, but it was still a jerk back. And there was just a little, in my perception, there was a little flow of life force that moved through that will end up, if not immediately, then over the day, less irritation and inflammation. And it was actually going into a little bit of the throat area in my perception. And please, if you can let me know how you feel, if you've noticed anything right away or not, Apprentice. Thank you so much. Lynn, is there anything I can work with? Any one thing?
I was out gardening and the sun actually burned some of my back, and I thought it was a bite, but now it's turning into this rash with big bumps, and I'm thinking, is it many bites, like I'm being attacked by spiders, or is it just like a reaction to the sun? It's pretty itchy.
Yeah, what I would do, it's an irritation. My perception, I don't know anything medically, nothing.
Right.
And I was married to a neurologist at one time, and everything that I learned medically was from listening to her on the phone, giving consults for 10 years. And I only heard one half of the conversation. That's what I learned. So, which is nothing. And so, my perception is it's irritation for something like rash. So one thing that I would like to suggest is it's awesome if it continues after this, or this might be your place after this, is to go to, say, a drugstore and get what's called almonds, AMMANS powder, and put a light bit on there. It's unbelievable. And within a couple days, if it's an intense rash or diaper rash or bed sore or anything, it'll just immediately take it away. Within a day or 2 days, you'll see that, oh my God. And just a real light coat once or twice a day, depending upon the severity. Very light coat. It's amazing.
So it's not a reaction from the sun, though. It's just an irritation.
I don't believe that. Right.
Okay, thank you.
My perception. So let me work with it and see if this doesn't take care of it as well. And you'll see that there's actually, it may have spread into a larger area, but there's one main focal area where a lot of it generated from.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there we go. Okay. We'll see what
Thank you.
happens now. My
Thank you.
pleasure. My pleasure. Do the almonds powder, though. It's awesome. It's amazing. The original almonds powder. They have all kinds now, but let's see. Chris, please, anything, my dear friend. Any one thing. Turn on your mic. 1 second. Turn on your mic, Chris. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Turn on your mic.
Hey, hang on, Chris. I'll turn it on for you. Oh no, I can't. There we go.
There we are. Okay. All right. Great. I'm having some issues with vertigo. It's more triggered by an up-down movement of my head than left or right. Like if I look up quickly at a plane flying over or a flag on a flagpole, I get that dizzy vertigo feeling.
All right. Good. Now, there's two things. One is that a long time ago, I was meeting a lot of people that had vertigo. They would come to me, and some of them responded to this beautifully, or a lot of them did. And so it's laying on your bed and then having your head hang down off the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then as quickly as you can, this is what I saw, as quickly as you can, go like that. And then go like that, real quick. and not violently, but forcefully a little, a little bit. And what happens is there's little calcium deposits, in my understanding, that lodge in the spinal, right on the spinal area, and this breaks them up.
Okay.
So that's one thing. That's a suggestion, and it takes maybe 5 to 10 seconds the most to do both sides, just one time.
Okay.
Like that. All right, that's one thing. The other thing is I want to work with you. Did you have a real slight injury right here, hit your head?
Not that I'm aware of or I can remember.
Was there like a rash or a red mark or something that you saw maybe within a year or two? That you can think?
I may have. I don't know. I've had some like skin cancers
Okay.
removed, or basal cells or stuff like that.
Right on top of your head?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want to do is work with that. Sometimes what happens is the bones in the head, the 5 or 7 bones, whatever they are, I don't even know anymore. They're plates, and sometimes they get a little tiny skewed, a millimeter, centimeter, more or less, whatever, and from situations that happen with us or out of shock, they get skewed that little bit. So what I'm going to do is you just close your eyes, sit back for a moment, and you may sense something happening, you may not, which is okay. Starting right there. And also, there's a lightness that comes upon you, and I call that clarity. Other people call it dizziness or whatever. I call it clarity. And so, and you've been experiencing that. Is that correct?
Yeah, lightheadedness or. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I call clarity. I enjoy that one as it happens to me over the many, many years, and it happens often with me. I enjoy it, and then I find myself more stable over the many years that I've been experiencing this. As I'm enjoying it, I wonder, what is this? What am I getting? What am I learning? What's coming to me, or what's happening inside of me? This is exciting. Then I find that all the other stuff that normal people would express as worrisome, it goes away, if that makes sense. And that's what my perception was. And so I did that with you. And did you sense like a funny sensation from your chest up?
I sense kind of like a little sinus pressure is what I really sensed.
Okay, all right. Let me do that really quick here, because that's a part of it too.
Okay.
All right, let's see what happens with that. I don't know if you got a relief yet or not, or a feel of a drainage or not. We'll find out.
Okay.
Please do keep me updated. I really would appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Give Michelle my love.
Okay, I will.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Penny, my dear. Turn on your mic. There you go.
I'm so proud. No. I injured my ribs on my left side. And am I talking loud enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so on this left side, right here, it's still a little bit out and it's painful.
Oh,
And so,
how long ago did that happen, Penny?
not this Friday, but the Friday before.
Oh, okay.
And
All
I've
right.
been resting and ha 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 and all that. And Joe, of course, wanted me to go to get x-rays, which I knew wouldn't help, but I did because it makes him happy. And it didn't show anything major,
Good.
you know, no
Thank God.
fracture or anything.
Good.
So
Good.
anyway, I just banged them real good.
Stand up there and keep standing
Okay.
up. Put your hand, yeah, perfect. Is that your right or left? I'm dyslexic.
Left. Yeah, left.
Put your right hand on that.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
other right hand.
Yeah,
I'll
you're,
put my right hand on it.
yeah, and just
Okay.
hold your hands there real gently
Okay.
and tell me if you sense something happening inside, hon.
Okay.
And be candid. Right there.
Yeah.
What does that feel like to you, hon?
I'm able to breathe much more easily now. Yeah, it's really.
Move your hands away. And
okay.
now move around real gently, like that,
Okay.
real gentle. Tell me what it's like. As worse or better?
Oh, good.
You rock.
Good.
You rock. Bless you. Now, you may get a little spurts of that, but it's just, it's like a consciousness, a mind that's trying to remind you of it, but just, you know, blow it off and think in your mind that, oh, I know about you, go away. And,
Okay.
you know, tell
And
us
so
take a
should I
hike.
still be kind of more careful
Yeah,
picking up things and stuff like that?
yeah, but gently go back. You'll find yourself going back normally.
Yeah, okay.
But be gentle with it, and you'll get little reminders. But don't worry about that because you're going through what I call the healing crisis.
Okay, just, all right. It's
You got
over, goodbye. Right?
Yeah, take a hike. Yeah, tell them to get out of Dodge. All right, Samantha, please. Any one thing that I can try to work with, please.
Hi, Mark. Yes, I would love some help with my back. I injured it. Well, I hurt it about a year ago. It was last summer. And the irony is I was helping a woman who had had back surgery. I was weeding her garden for her because she couldn't bend over. And I did that for 4 hours.
Sure.
And since then, it's just really been hurting me. And that was a year ago.
Okay. All righty. Just relax and don't try to figure out anything or analyze or whatever. Don't even think. Let me do something here on the back. It's almost like there's been forces, what I refer to as the mass mind, consciousness, that in some sense, this may be cognizant or not with you or in your understanding, but the forces of that mass mind have always, in some sense, wanted you to believe that you're curtailed in life. And so this is going to affect that consciousness. And this has been for many, many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
if you can relate to that.
Yes.
It was like a little bubble of air that went in that consciousness. They went like that. I don't know if you experienced that or not.
I just felt like a tingle.
Okay. Okay. Let's take it from there. All right. Thank you so much. And please do keep me updated. Everyone here, keep me updated. Patty, my dear friend. Can't hear you, huh?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like you to work on my right lower back side. I was doing some, excessive bending over to do things, and it almost felt like that pinched nerve was going to make me scream. So I did a little work on myself. I
Good.
wore the TENS unit,
Good.
that kind of stuff. So I would like for you to just give it a zap so it feels even better.
All right. That'll teach you. Don't do anything of exercise or work.
I
Ever.
won't. I'm done.
Just sit on the sofa with the remote and have people
Okay.
bring you whatever you need.
Gotcha.
And my perception is that it's in between the spine and the outer edge of the hip. It's midway. And
Exactly.
it's just irritated. It will go with this or within, say, a day and a half, my perception. There. Let's see what happens, Patty. Please do keep me updated.
It
Please.
feels better, it feels flowing, and it feels, it opened up. The
Good.
tightness opened up.
Good.
Thank
told
you.
I told Mr. Inflammation to take a hike. Get out.
Get out.
So,
Thank you.
my honor, my pleasure. And Jane, please. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go.
I would like to have you work on, I've had a condition, it's chronic for probably 27, 28 years, irritable bowel and that whole inflammation in that area. So it's like colon, stomach, spleen area.
And also understand that and a part of that has to do with and contributes to it's your super sensitivity as well, and you know that.
Yes.
And so and it's like a readaptation. I don't know how to express this. It's like your body's trying to learn how to adapt to that. Your physical, the so-called spiritual aspects and the physical are trying to integrate. One thing I'd like to really recommend to you is to meditate, but in the meditation, it's not, having other people's sounds or noises or words. It's finding a simple question that you want to know something about, and that pertains to you or your life or your environment around you, and a real simple question and wondering about it, and see what comes to you. But it's coming to you from within you. As you do that, and it's no thinking, it's no analyzing, it's no critiquing, nothing. It's just wondering. And let it come to you instead of you coming up with an answer. In wondering about a simple thing like how can I, it's wondering of how can I see my body without the irritable bowel, IBS? How can I see my body? And wondering, not knowing the answer, and seeing what comes to you, it will hit you the deeper you wonder about it, it will come to you either immediately or say that night or the next day.
Okay.
But when it comes to you, something will change in you.
Mhm.
That's why you're able to perceive an answer, because something's happening.
Wonderful.
Yes, and in the meantime, let's see if that doesn't help. Did you notice anything happening inside your abdominal cavity? Be candid.
My whole body is feeling. I'm feeling very warm.
Okay, that's
So I
change.
feel-
Yes, that's reaction from what's.
Yeah. So I'm noticing that, and I'm noticing that whatever the energetic block is, I can feel a lessening. So I could tell that it's.
This will give you a reprieve to some degree, and but then the other part that I told you earlier, with wondering about stuff, that will help. Not only it'll change you from within, emotionally, biologically, physiologically, neurologically. It'll affect the organs. It will affect you in every way.
Excellent. Thank you.
And enhance your spirituality as well. So awesome. And please, your son, is there any one thing that I can try to work with here? Please.
I've been having some issues with my left thumb, likely as a result of a lot of computer work.
Oh, I'm telling you, don't work. All right, hold up your thumb for a minute. Okay. And hold up, and you tell me if you sense something happening here. And it is a stress on the little, I don't know if there's tendons or ligaments. I know nothing medically. Did you sense something right there?
Not exactly, no.
Okay, good. That's fine. Not everyone needs to. The ones that do need to. The ones that don't need to. No right or wrong. And right in here is, if you were to push in there, it'd be a little tender, if I'm correct. If I may not be.
A little bit more in the flesh of the palm is where it's.
Yes.
tender.
Oh, back here?
Yeah, or in the, in the front.
Now, this is also on the outside where there's, if you were to, say, push in on the back side.
Here.
Not too much. Yes. Is it a little tender in there?
I feel like the whole region aches a bit.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And so hold it in. Just hold your finger in and tell me, it's almost like having a water balloon filled up with warm water and someone comes along and puts a little pinprick in it and it starts to flow, gently eliminate. Tell me if you feel that happening in your hand. There. There was a buildup of pressure, and then did you sense the release? Not to talk you into it.
Not exactly, no.
Okay, move your hand a little bit now. And tell me if you notice any difference in there at all yet. And you may not, or you may, or it may be better.
Not in the thumb. I'm still having, I got like trigger thumb is what they call it. So I'm still feeling quite a bit of the triggering.
Okay, all right. With the trigger thumb, that's another story. But with the causal of this in the, I don't know if there's tendons or ligaments in there or what, but you'll see in my perception, not to make any claims, but you might notice that it no longer is of, it'll develop into less of an ache or less of a irritation in there. And I don't know if this will get rid of the trigger thumb or not.
Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure, my pleasure. Let me see here. Ruth, my dear friend.
Hi. Two things. One
Yes.
is the bottom of my right foot,
Just one. One
and
thing.
the other is for someone else.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Foot first.
Okay. And tell me about the other person, please, real briefly.
You know him, Reverend from my church, Kurt Condra.
Yes.
I believe from the signs he has a COVID diagnosis.
Oh,
So he's having a lot of coughing, and he's taking
Okay.
the next couple of weeks off. So
Okay.
if you could do
I
a
would
healing
love
blessing for him.
to.
Thank you.
And I actually saw him bursting out laughing for something, but a little bit later. All right.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Sue, my dear. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
My left wrist from treading water in the deep end of the pool.
Don't exercise, I'm telling you.
No, it's,
Just drink coffee and sit there. When did it start? 2 days ago?
yes. Actually, that was when I did it, but it didn't start hurting till yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes time for the body to catch up. I don't know.
Well, catch it up, go 5 days ahead to no pain. Yeah, no pain.
All right, Sue. Move around and tell me if you notice any difference yet, and it's okay if you don't.
I felt when you were working on it, I felt more energy, but I still have a little bit of discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah, that means it's fine, and now it can go through its process.
Mhm.
Musso, please, anything I can try to help with? Anything, Musso, are you there? Turn on your mic. Musso. Okay. Let's see. All right, who haven't I gotten yet? Work with, please, everyone. Well, please do keep me updated, and also, well, with keeping me updated, I would love to hear what has transpired. And if you're ever interested in the future with an appointment with me, please do so, either FaceTime or phone or otherwise, or Zoom. Let me know. So I'm honored. We've actually gone over for a minute, but if there's any final question I can answer about anything, please. Please, Penny. Turn on your mic. Can't hear you. I need your mic on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. What's the hashtag that you were saying, make a comment?
Lynn, please.
You could do hashtag replay, so it's all one word. Or
I'm
you
sorry, I
could,
couldn't understand you.
hashtag replay. Can you, Penny, can you see the chat window?
Can I see the stat window?
The chat.
Chat window?
Yes.
I'll type it, I'll type it in there.
Okay.
And so you can see it.
There.
Another one that Mark likes to see is You Rock, and
Hashtag you rock.
yeah, hashtag You Rock.
And then that says that.
Now, do I need to be on Twitter to do this hashtag thing?
No, you do not, but
Okay.
that's a really good question. Very good question. You can leave that right in the comment box for YouTube
Okay.
when you're watching.
Okay, YouTube comment. Okay,
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
And please like, share, and subscribe as well. That would
Okay.
really be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. All right. We're really rocking here. It's 3 after, but any final question that I can try to answer about healing or spirituality or the website or what? Please go to the website, and Lynn will put the information up there. It's www.markehrlichs.com. And it'll have the newsletter there at the top. You can click it down. If you're not a member of it, join it on the right side of the website. It's all pretty obvious there. And if you're interested, you can please, on the website, there's an area where you can make a contribution or which helps other people as well for the classes and for the appointments. And if you're interested in an appointment, please, let me know gladly. Please, has anyone experienced feeling better since doing this, or a change, I should say? Please, anyone. How you doing, Chris? Is it notice any changes or whatever yet?
My head feels a little bit different. I mean, I can feel like there's a little pressure in my sinus area or something like that.
Okay, and that might be a contributory towards the dizziness as well. Not the cause, maybe, I don't know, but it might be contributory towards it. Everything contributes to everything, so.
Okay, well, thanks, Mark.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And please give Michelle my love. And
I will.
Patty, please. Anything?
Much better.
Good.
Much better. Thank you
All right.
so much.
All right. Penny, please.
Yes, really good now. Really good.
You rock. And I hope the apprentice is feeling better in that area. If not, immediately it will be exponential in its healing. So,
There's a message there for you
where?
in the chat.
Oh.
Linda.
Anesthesia of the area. Good. It's helping then. Good. Thank you, apprentice. Let's see, Jane and Carrie.
Yeah, I'm noticing that I'm more relaxed. I'm feeling a softening in the area. So.
Okay, good. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Nothing.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
currently,
sorry.
but thank you.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. No right or wrong, good or bad in the mind of God. You know, it's our own perception. So don't worry about that. That's fine. Let's see what happens. Lynn, you're doing good? Sue?
Yep.
All right. Well, blessings to everyone. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we have the gathering. Please ask questions on the Facebook page or in an email to me of things you want me to talk about or explain or to help your understanding if I can do that. Please follow through with the questions. Please, I love them. And we're needing questions. We don't have any yet. Blessings to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank,
Mark.
thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
You.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
So
Bye.
much.